And it's going to push you to think creatively about how you want to solve the problem without limiting yourself to like, oh, this is the only way I can fix this problem. This is the ultimate solution for me. No, when you come up with 3 different solutions, you give yourself options so that you can actually be a human. Hello. You can be a human because guess what? Humans are human. Surprise, surprise. Things are going to happen. Life is going to life. I don't want you to give up on accomplishing a solution to your problems and then implementing a solution that's actually going to work for you because you only came up with one solution.
5 shows made 3 million a week. You are now looking at the bestie elite. You are now looking at the bestie elite. You are now looking at the best.
Hey there, bestie. These are the 5 steps to problem solving as your best self. I'm Lachelle. Welcome back to my channel, where we are focused on becoming our best selves in 2025 and every other year as well. If you guys are new, don't be shy. Go ahead and go ahead and save, and share this with somebody that you want the best for, because the best are never the best by themselves. With that being said, grab your water and let's get right into it. All right, bestie, first step out of 5, you have to acknowledge that there's a problem. Yeah, you have to acknowledge there's a problem. You can't problem solve as your best self if you do not think you have a problem to begin with. It could be a big problem, it could be a small problem, but to understand and acknowledge that a problem exists is always going to be the first step. You are never going to fix something you don't think is wrong. You are never going to fix something that you do not think is wrong. You have got to acknowledge there's a problem. And this does not mean that, it has to be a life-ending problem. It could just mean, okay, the problem is you want to make more money at work. The problem is you want to work out more. The problem is you want to travel more. The problem is you want to set better boundaries. Whatever it is, you have to understand that that is a problem for you to be able to solve it. If you never acknowledge that it's a problem, you're not going to do anything to push yourself to get past it in the best way possible as your best self, okay? All right, once you acknowledge a problem, this is going to make the next step that much easier. So the next thing you're going to do when it comes to the 5 steps for problem solving as your best self is you have to break down how you got there. Once you know what the problem is, how did you get there? All right, was this something that you did, or was it something that was done to you? Okay, is the reason that you are not working out your doing or somebody else's? Okay, what's stopping you from working out? Is, I understand that you can't pick, relatively speaking, you can't pick how much you're making at your job, right? You can ask, you can request, you can, make it a part of your agreement to the job, but somebody else sets how much you're making for the job. Somebody else is determining what your pay is for traditional jobs, okay? So that's something that's being done too. If you feel like, oh, I'm not making enough, I want to make more money, you didn't have any control over how much a company had to pay you. Okay, versus you do in fact have control over how much time you spend working out. So if you start to break down, okay, did this happen to me or was I doing it to myself, and you figure out how you actually got there, it's going to make it easier for you to come up with a plan to get yourself out of the situation. Okay, it's going to be easier to come up with a plan that's going to help you problem solve. Because you can have an amazing strategy in your head, but if it doesn't account for the thing that got you there in the first place, you can end up doing all this extra stuff just to still have the same problem. Make sense? The next thing you're gonna do when it comes to problem solving as your best self is you are going to create 3 solutions to the problem. Okay, and there's always a reason, there's a method to the madness, right? I don't want you to have the excuse that one of your solutions didn't work when it comes to your problems. So if the problem was, oh, I want to eat healthier, okay? And the reason that you're not eating as healthy is of your own doing, because you really like DoorDash. You really like Postmates. You really like trying new cuisines. You really don't like cooking at home. Yeah. I don't want you to come up with one solution and then be like, oh, well, my solution for eating healthier was to meal prep on Sundays. And that's your only solution. And then it turns out that, oh my gosh, on Sundays, it's like your busiest day. It's your day to run around and do all the errands, so you never get a chance to meal prep. And you're like, oh, well, I came up with a solution for my problem, but it just didn't work out. And then you give up on solving the problem. When you have 3 solutions, if that one solution didn't work, you have 2 more to try, okay? And it's going to push you to think creatively about how you want to solve the problem without limiting yourself to like, oh, this is the only way I can fix this problem. This is the ultimate solution for me. No, when you come up with 3 different solutions, you give yourself options so that you can actually be a human. Hello. You can be a human because guess what? Humans are human. Surprise, surprise. Things are going to happen. Life is going to life. I don't want you to give up on accomplishing a solution to your problems and then implementing a solution that's actually going to work for you because you only came up with one solution. And because that one solution doesn't work, you give up on everything. All right? Trust me on it. All right, you're more than halfway there with the 5 steps of problem solving as your best self. So after you're done with step 3, which is creating 3 solutions to the problem, surprise, surprise, you're going to pick one and execute it. It does not matter which one you pick. You can pick your favorite one, you can pick your least favorite one, whatever it is, pick one. The reason I'm saying pick one is so that you can focus your energy on one thing, not on 3 things, not on testing everything at the same time. And then because you chose one solution that needs you to, maybe spend more time on it than another, you're just like, oh, I don't have enough time to do all this, so I'm not going to do anything. No, pick one solution and test it out. All right, now, I'm going to give you guys some guardrails, okay? Depending on what the problem is and what solution you pick, I feel like trying out a solution for 30 days is reasonable. This is long enough for it to become a habit for you, but it's also short enough that if it's not working, you have enough information, enough data from the 30 days to know whether or not it's going to work for you long term, depending on what the problem is. Okay, depending on what the problem is. I gotta put that in there because I don't want you guys to say, oh, well, my problem was that I don't talk to my family enough. And, I tried my solutions, but my family lives really far away. Everybody has different schedules, so we could only talk 4 times in a month. And, there was holidays, so we skipped certain months. Or certain weeks. I don't want it to be like, oh, it's been 30 days and that's not enough. And you're not taking into account everything else that's happening during those 30 days that might be impacting your outcome. Okay. So for most goals though, like working out, asking for a salary increase, making more money in general, trying something new, a new hobby, getting into a new profession. Okay, a lot of those things, going back to school, a lot of those things you are going to be able to really see if it's gonna work for you or not in 30 days. For my people who are like, going back to school in 30 days, you can take a course, you can get a certification, you can test out things in short amounts, okay? Remember, this is for most problems. If you are outside of the 30-day rule, if you know whatever your problem was, that you're given a solution, it needs longer than 30 days because you're not just going back for a certification, you're going back to college to get a degree, and that's going to take you 2 years. I understand, all right? Just generally speaking, you want to pick one thing, and you want to try that one solution for the next 30 days, all right? I'm curious, now that we've kind of covered that, what is going to be your one solution that you're going to try out on the next 30 days? Let me know in the comments below, and let's finish out these 5 steps. All right, y'all, this is the last step of 5 of problem solving as your best self. And the 5th thing you're going to do is trust that this was the right decision. It is so easy to be like, oh, I had 3 solutions. I picked this one. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Yeah, I'm trying to do 30 days, but I'm so nervous about it. Like, it's not working out as quickly as I wanted it to. Oh, I don't think I'm actually going to make it. I don't think that's actually going to work for me. Before you do all that, what if what you chose as your solution is the best solution? What if we just automatically assumed that and acted accordingly? What if the problem that you chose is the right problem for you and the solution that you chose is the right solution for that problem? What if it's the right decision? Instead of spending all that energy and effort being like, oh, I don't know, and not making a decision because you don't know if it's the right decision, why not just agree that it is? Why not just agree that it is the right solution? Wouldn't that be a thing where it's just like, oh, you made the right choice and it's all gonna work out? Wouldn't that be much better for you solving your problems if you just knew that what you decided was the right way? I'm just saying. Instead of spending all that time worrying and wondering and double guessing yourself, it's the right decision. It's the right decision. It's the right decision. It's the right decision. At the end of the 30 days, you're either going to know that in your heart of hearts, or you're going to know that the next decision you make is going to be the right decision for your solution. So no matter what, your decision is going to be right. Whether it's right now or the next 30 days when you pick a different solution, the decision that you're making is going to be correct. Okay? You don't have to take my word for it though. You can try that one for yourself. Alright, because you guys have dealt with my voice that I am literally losing right now, because we dealt with that voice the entire video, I'm going to sprinkle in a little bonus, okay, when it comes to the 5 steps that you're going to take to problem solve as your best self. Okay, and the bonus tip is you're going to remember that it's better to make a decision now and adjust it later than to wait. So the reason that the last tip was, hey, you made the right decision, right? Don't feel like, there's like a wrong way to do this. The reason that's like the last tip and the reason that this is the bonus tip is because a lot of people wait to make the right decision. They feel like if they're not making the right decision now, then they can't make a decision at all. A lot of people will be like, oh, I don't have the perfect workout set up, so I can't go to the gym. Or, oh, my schedule is going to be changing. I put in a request at my job, to change my schedule around, so I can't ask for a raise right now. I got to wait. I want to travel more, but, everybody's trying to get a passport right now, so I'm just going to wait till that dies down. And lo and behold, what normally ends up happening, and I'm speaking from experience, all that time you spent waiting, you could have already did it. All the time you spent waiting for the right moment, you could have already done it. You could have already solved your problem. You could have already moved on to bigger and better things. It could have already been done. It could have already been done. You wanted to, try a new hobby. You're like, I'm going to wait till I have more time. What if you don't get more time? You're over here waiting, I'm going to start in the summer. I'm going to start next year. We're in the middle of the year right now. You can wait 6 months when you could have already had not only a new hobby, but a new skill in 6 months? Because you want to wait for it to be your New Year's resolution? Do you understand? Like, you see what I'm saying? It is better to make a decision now and adjust it than to wait. I'd rather you pick a hobby, realize that's not the hobby for you, try a different hobby, try a different hobby, try a different hobby, and in 6 months' time, you tried 6 different hobbies, and you might have found 2 that spark your interest and work for your schedule and work for you, versus waiting until New Year's and now you've wasted 6 months. No hobbies to show for it, no skills to show for it, all because you were waiting. Instead of making a decision and adjusting, making a decision and adjusting, making a decision and adjusting, making a decision and adjusting. Because guess what? Whatever decision you make is the right decision. And if it's not, you'll know that and you'll make the next right decision. And if that's not, you're going to know it and you're going to do the next right decision until the solution is proper for your problem. But you cannot get a solution if you actually wait to start it, okay? You cannot have a solution to your problems. You cannot end those problems if you're waiting for the right conditions, if you're waiting for the magical time for it to be perfect. It's never happening. So instead of waiting for the perfect moment, make this moment perfect. All right, besties, that's everything for the 5 steps for problem solving as your best self. As always, thank you guys so much for hanging out here on my channel. You know what to do if you have not already. Liked, subscribe. That way you guys know what's coming up next. And so I know what content you actually want to hear more from or more on. All right. With that being said, I'm going to save the rest of my voice. I will see you guys on the next one.